close your eyes, let the room fade. There is only this voice now, and the soft rain that isn't really rain. It is late, later than clocks admit. The house is quiet, the kind of quiet that feels like it has been waiting for you to notice it. He sits on the edge of the bed, legs over the side, bare feet on cool wood. In his hand, a small glass jar. Inside, 5 dried grams of golden caps, folded like tiny ancient umbrellas. They look harmless. They have never been harmless. He has done this before, but never like tonight. Tonight feels different. Tonight feels like the last night he will ever be afraid. He unscrews the lid. The smell rises immediately. Earth after lightning, attic books, something faintly sweet and fungal that remembers the dinosaur age. He tips them into his palm. They are light, almost weightless, yet they feel heavier than any decision he has ever made. He does not chew them slowly. He does not savour. He places all 5 grams on his tongue at once and swallows with a sip of still water. No ceremony, no music, no candles. Just the deliberate closing of a door he has kept cracked open his entire life. The lights are already off. He planned it that way. Darkness is part of the agreement. He lies back on the bed, hands at his sides, palms up like a child told to receive something. The ceiling is invisible, but he stares at where it should be anyway. 10 minutes pass in ordinary time. In his body, continents are shifting. First comes the warmth, not heat, warmth. It starts behind his eyes and spreads downward like honey poured in winter. His shoulders drop a fraction. He didn't know they were holding the weight of 34 years until the weight begins to lift. Then the breath changes. It deepens without effort. Each inhale feels longer than the last, as if his lungs are remembering how big they were meant to be. Exhales leave slowly, reluctantly, like saying goodbye to old friends. He waits for visuals. They do not come yet. What comes instead is quieter, more dangerous, a loosening. He notices it first in his thoughts. The usual chatter, the endless rehearsal of tomorrow's worries, the replay of yesterday's small humiliations, simply stops, not silenced, stopped. Like someone unplugged a radio mid-sentence. In the vacuum something else speaks, not words, a feeling. A clear, unmistakable message travelling up from his chest into his throat. You do not have to be afraid anymore. He almost laughs, because fear has been the furniture of his life. Fear of failure, fear of being seen, fear of being unseen, fear of love, fear of death, fear of living wrong. All of it arranged neatly in the rooms of his mind, dusted daily, never moved. Now the furniture is floating, gently, inches off the floor. He can feel it, 25 minutes in. The first wave arrives, not dramatic, not terrifying, a soft rolling forward, like the ocean deciding to come a little closer to the shore. His body feels suddenly optional. He could stay in, or he could step out. No force, just permission. He chooses to stay for now, but the door is open. That is when he sees it. Not with his eyes are closed, but with whatever sees when the eyes stop trying, the door. It stands at the foot of the bed, though there has never been a door there. It is tall, wooden, ancient, made of something darker than oak and lighter than night. No handle, no lock, it simply waits. He understands immediately. This is the door he has spent his life walking past, pretending not to notice. The door behind which lives the version of him that never learned to be careful. The version that says yes before calculating risk. The version that dances in public, sings off key, loves without strategy, creates without apology. All this time he thought freedom was something he had to earn. Tonight the mushroom shows him. Freedom was on the other side of a door he was always allowed to open. He just never turned the knob because there is no knob. You open it by deciding the door was never closed. He feels tears, but they do not fall. They rise instead, evaporating somewhere behind his eyes, turning into soft golden light that fills the room he is no longer certain is a room. The mushroom speaks, not in words, but in knowing. It says, "Go ahead, step through, live there as long as you need. When you're ready, you can bring it back with you. Or not. Either way, the fear stays here. It doesn't fit through the door." He exhales one last ordinary breath. Then he stands, not his body, but all of him, and walks forward. The door opens without sound. Beyond it, colour he has no names for, air that tastes like music, a life without edges. He steps across the threshold, and for the first time in 34 years, he is not afraid. The door is gone, there is no behind anymore, only forward, and forward feels optional too. He stands in a vast velvet dark that is not empty. It is full of breathing. Not his breathing. Something larger, slower, patient. The air itself inhales him, exhales him like lungs made of night. Then comes the first crack. It starts in his chest, right where fear used to live. A thin line of golden light appears, no wider than a hair. He feels it before he sees it. A tiny fracture in the armour he's worn since childhood. The armour had no name, but it had rules. Don't speak too loudly, don't want too much, don't trust the wrong people, don't fail publicly, don't love too openly, don't. The crack widens. With it comes a soundless sound, like ice breaking on a spring river far away. Each rule shatters in turn. He watches them fall away from him in slow motion, glittering as they go, turning into harmless sparks that drift downward and disappear. His heartbeat slows, not from danger, from relief. The constant background hum of anxiety that he mistook for normal life simply stops. For the first time in memory, there is quiet inside his skull. No committee arguing about tomorrow, no replay of yesterday's small humiliations, just spacious silence. He lifts a hand in front of his face. He can't see it, yet he can. The darkness has become transparent, like deep water at night. His fingers leave faint trails of soft light, as if he's moving through phosphor. He wiggles them and laughs, a small, surprise sound that echoes back to him warm and welcoming. Another crack. This one runs down his spine. He feels his posture change without effort. The habitual slump he carried for years straightens, shoulders roll back, chin lifts. He's suddenly taller than he has ever been while standing still. The mushroom medicine is moving now, unhurried but unstoppable. It flows through his veins like warm honey mixed with starlight. Every place it touches loosens. The jaw unclenches fully. The stomach unknots. The eyes soften. Even the soles of his feet relax against the ground that feels more like moss than bedroom floor. He realizes he is afraid of nothing right now. Not death. Not embarrassment. Not rejection. Not even the fear of fear returning. The absence is so complete it feels like flying. A memory tries to surface. Something painful from last year. A moment he still flinches from in daylight. The memory rises, and the crack reaches it. The image fractures into 1,000 gentle pieces and rains downward like petals. It does not hurt. It feels like forgiveness he never knew he could give himself. He takes one experimental step forward. The darkness parts for him the way tall grass parts for a child running. There is no friction, no hesitation. His body moves because it wants to, not because it has calculated the safest way. Another step, another. With each footfall, another small barrier dissolves. The fear of looking stupid, gone. The fear of being too much, gone. The fear of not being enough, gone. They leave no residue, no echo, just space. Clean, wide open space where something new can grow. He begins to smile, and the smile feels enormous, as if his whole body is smiling through his face. The corners of his mouth reach places they have never reached before. Tears come, not sad ones, but the kind that arrive when a long-held breath is finally released. They roll down his cheeks and evaporate into tiny sparks before they reach his jaw. He spreads his arms. The gesture is instinctive, like a bird testing wings it forgot it had. The darkness rushes in to fill the space under his arms, buoying him up. He's weightless now, not floating away, rooted and weightless at the same time, the way trees must feel. A soft voice, not heard but known, whispers from everywhere and nowhere. You never needed permission. You only needed the fear to leave. He understands. The mushrooms did not give him courage. They simply removed the fear that was pretending to be him. The cracking slows. The last pieces fall away. What remains is raw, tender, and astonishingly alive. He stands in the quiet aftermath, newborn and ancient at once. Ahead, the darkness begins to brighten, not with light, but with possibility. Shapes move toward him, colours that have no names yet, sounds that feel like touches, presences that already know him and like what they see. He is naked of everything that ever held him back. No masks, no stories about why not, no careful half version of himself, just him, the real one, the one who was waiting behind the door all this time. He takes a deeper breath than he has ever taken. The air tastes like yes, and then, with the fearless certainty of a child chasing fireflies, he walks forward into the other life. The crack has become an opening wide enough for a whole man to pass through. He does not look back. There is nothing back there he still needs. Only forward, only open, only now. He steps fully through the crack, and the world changes its mind about what is possible. The darkness does not brighten. It deepens into colour, a deep, living indigo that pulses like the inside of a seashell. Then threads of gold weave through it, then emerald, then colours he has no names for. Colours that feel like emotions he was never allowed to have. He's standing on nothing and everything at once. The ground beneath his bare feet is soft, warm, alive. It gives slightly with each step, like walking on the chest of a sleeping giant who is happy to carry him. Grass springs up where his soles touch, luminous blades that glow for a moment and then fade, leaving faint footprints of light behind him. There are no walls, no ceilings, no horizons that say stop. Space stretches in every direction, generous and unjudging. The air tastes sweet, like the moment just before laughter. He takes another step and the first stranger appears. Not a person, not exactly. A presence shaped like a tall, slender figure made of shifting light and shadow. Its edges blur into the air, as if it is only borrowing form for the pleasure of meeting him. It has no face, yet he feels it smiling. It raises a hand in greeting, palm forward. He mirrors the gesture without thinking. Their palms meet. There is no impact, only a warm merging like two streams of water joining. In that touch, understanding floods him. This is not an alien. This is someone he has always known but was too afraid to look at directly. A friend from before names, before shame. The figure nods once, steps aside, and dissolves into a shower of soft sparks that drift upward like fireflies. More come. They arrive gently, singly, and in small groups. Some tall, some small, some shaped like animals he loved as a child, some like abstract sculptures of pure feeling. They circle him at a respectful distance, curious but never crowding. None speak with words, they speak with presence, with the tilt of a head, with the way light bends around them when they are happy he is here. He realizes he is crying again, but the tears feel like celebration. One of the beings, a graceful deer-like shape with antlers of soft blue flame, steps close and lowers its head. He places his forehead against its cool warmth. A wave of pure welcome rolls through him. He is home. He has always been home. He just forgot the address. He starts walking and the others walk with him. Not following, accompanying. The ground shifts to match his mood. Sometimes a meadow of soft clover. Sometimes a smooth stone path beside a quiet river. Sometimes warm sand that sings faintly underfoot. Time loosens its grip entirely. He walks for what feels like minutes and lifetimes at once. Cities appear in the distance, not built of steel and concrete, but grown. Towers of living crystal, bridges of woven vines heavy with flowers, streets that rearrange themselves to bring friends closer. He enters one of these cities without hesitation. The streets are full of more beings, thousands, millions, moving with unhurried grace. Some dance alone in slow spirals, some sit in circles, heads bowed together, sharing silence like bread. Some paint the air with gestures that leave trails of colour that become birds and fly away. No one stares, no one judges, no one asks what he does for a living or whether he deserves to be here. A group of young-looking beings, bright, quick, made of laughter, spot him and run over. They take his hands and pull him into a circle. Music begins, not from instruments but from the air itself, a deep, joyful rhythm that enters his bones. He dances. He has never danced well in his ordinary life, always stiff, self-conscious, counting steps. Here, his body knows exactly what to do. He spins, leaps, sways. His arms carve arcs of light that linger and become ribbons around the group. Laughter pours out of him in waves. The young beings laugh with him, their voices like bells made of water. When the dance ends, no one is tired. They simply sit together on the warm stone of the street, leaning against one another. One of them, a small fox-shaped light, curls against his side. He strokes its fur, which feels like warm electricity. It sighs contentedly. He looks around and realizes, this is what living without fear feels like. No second-guessing every word, no scanning faces for signs of disapproval. No mental calculator running in the background tallying worth, just being, just present. A tall figure approaches, human-shaped this time, cloaked in deep violet, face hidden in soft shadow. It kneels in front of him and offers something in both hands, a small, glowing seed. He takes it. The moment his fingers close around it, he knows what it is. Potential. Every dream he ever buried out of fear, every song he never sang, every risk he never took, all compressed into this warm, pulsing light. He understands the invitation. He can plant it here, right now, and watch it grow instantly. Or he can carry it back. The choice is his, and there is no wrong answer. He holds the seed against his chest. It sinks gently into his skin, settling near his heart. Warmth spreads outward from it, steady and strong. The cloaked figure nods once, stands, and walks away, dissolving into the crowd. Night falls, or what passes for night here. The sky fills with slow-moving auroras that hum softly. The city dims to a comfortable glow. Beings drift toward quiet places, soft hollows in the ground, hammocks woven of moonlight, circles of stones that radiate warmth. He finds a place beneath a tree whose leaves are made of slow-spinning galaxies. He lies down. Several of his new friends settle nearby. The foxlight curls against his side again. Someone places a blanket of soft-woven starlight over him. He's not sleepy in the ordinary way. He's simply complete. The day, if it was a day, has been enough. More than enough. As he drifts toward rest, he feels the other life folding gently around him, like wings. This is not escape, this is remembrance. This is what he was before fear taught him to be smaller. Tomorrow, or whatever comes next, he will explore more. He will sing the songs. He will build impossible things. He will love without contracts or exit strategies. He will make mistakes and laugh about them immediately. For now, he closes his eyes. The seed near his heart pulses once, twice, in rhythm with the greater breathing all around him. He is safe. He is vast. He is finally, undeniably himself. The foxlight sighs in its sleep. The galaxies in the leaves spin slower. The city hums its lullaby. And in the quiet he smiles the deepest smile of his entire existence. The other life has begun, and it is beautiful beyond anything fear ever let him imagine. There are no mornings here, only gentle openings. He wakes beneath the galaxy leaf tree to find the foxlight still curled against his ribs, breathing in perfect rhythm with him. The seed he was given has already sprouted. A thin silver vine climbs out of his chest, flowering silently with small star-shaped blooms that smell like the first day of summer vacation when he was 8. He touches one petal. It dissolves into warm laughter that sinks back into his skin. He stands. The city has rearranged itself while he rested. Where there was a meadow is now a wide plaza of polished obsidian that reflects not his face but his feelings. Joy appears as ripples of gold, curiosity as soft green waves. He watches the reflection smile before he does. Today he decides to create. He has never thought of himself as creative. In the old life, ideas arrived crippled by doubt before they could even stand. Here, an idea arrives whole and unafraid. He wants music that tastes like colour. He opens his mouth, no plan, no apology, and sings a single note. The note leaves him as pale violet light, hangs in the air, then splits into 1,000 hummingbird-sized tones that dart around him like living stained glass. They begin to weave. Other beings pause in their walks, tilt heads, join in with their own notes, some low as whale song, some high as glass bells. Within moments there is an orchestra of pure light swirling overhead. He conducts with idle hand movements, and the music becomes architecture, arches, spires, floating staircases that lead nowhere and everywhere. When the final note fades, the structures remain, glowing softly, a gift for whoever walks beneath them later. No one claps, they simply bow, touch hearts, move on. Praise here is silent and immediate. It lives in the eyes. He laughs out loud at how easy it was. The laugh echoes back multiplied, as if the city itself is giggling with him. Later, he thinks it is later, he finds a river made of liquid mirror. He kneels, looks in. The reflection shows every version of himself that fear murdered. The painter, the traveller, the boy who wanted to dance on tables, the man who wanted to kiss other men in public, the writer, the loud lover, the quiet monk, the reckless poet. They all stand behind the reflection, waving. He reaches in. The surface is warm. One by one he pulls them out. They are not ghosts. They are solid, warm, smiling. They embrace him without speaking, then merge back into his body like rivers returning to the sea. He stands taller again, as though literal weight has been added in the form of reclaimed life. He spends what might be weeks walking the riverbank with a woman made of wind and bird song. She has no name, or every name. They do not ask each other questions like, "What do you do?" They ask, "What does your heart feel like right now?" They make love on the mirror grass. There is no performance, no worry about duration or skill, only presence. When they finish, the grass has grown tiny crystals where their bodies were. The crystals sing softly when the breeze touches them. They leave them there for strangers. He learns to fly, not with wings, but by deciding gravity is a suggestion. He simply steps off a cliff that appears for the occasion and keeps walking upward. The foxlight rides on his shoulder, tail flicking happily. From the air he sees the city as only one petal on an infinite flower. Other petals are deserts of singing sand, oceans of liquid starlight, forests where trees tell slow jokes in bass voices. He visits them all. In the desert he dances with shadows that teach him to forgive his father. In the ocean he swims through memories of every kindness ever shown him. They taste like honey. In the forest he sits inside a hollow trunk for 40 years of silence and emerges 10 minutes later holding a single acorn of perfect peace. Time becomes playful. He lives entire romances that last centuries in an afternoon. He fathers children made of light who grow up, leave home and visit on holidays that happen whenever someone thinks of love. He dies a few times, peaceful, curious deaths, and is reborn laughing because death here is only a doorway to better views. No one mourns. They celebrate the excellent story his life became. He writes books by thinking them. The pages are butterfly wings. Readers inhale the stories and grow new colours behind their eyes. He paints with emotion. Anger becomes scarlet storms that resolve into rose gardens. Loneliness becomes deep blue pools that reflect only beauty. The paintings hang themselves in galleries that float through the sky so everyone gets a turn. He cooks feasts where ingredients arrive already grateful to be eaten. A carrot sings gratitude as he slices it. The wine is made from forgotten dreams. One sip, and you remember you can fly again. There is no money. There's no shame. There is no too much or not enough. When he wants to give, the universe leans in to receive. When he wants to receive, the universe pours. One evening, though evenings are optional, he sits on a hillside with thousands of others watching a sunset that lasts as long as it needs to. The sun is not a star. It is every heart that ever felt. It lowers itself slowly, painting the sky in emotions, gratitude, wonder, mischief, tenderness. When the last curve slips below the edge, the entire crowd exhales together, and the exhale becomes a flock of soft white birds that circle once and dissolve into starlight. He feels something then, a tug, gentle as a child pulling a sleeve. The mushroom, somewhere far below in the dark bedroom, stirs in his bloodstream. Not a command, an invitation. The other life does not end. It only asks if he would like to carry some of it back. He looks around at the hillside, at the foxlight asleep on his lap, at the woman of wind and bird song braiding flowers into his hair. He feels no sadness, only fullness. He stands. The crowd parts with soft smiles. They know. They always know. He walks back the way he came, through the desert, the ocean, the forest, the city of light until the petal folds gently behind him. The seed vine in his chest has become a tree now, roots reaching all the way to his toes, branches brushing the inside of his skull. It travels with him. The crack appears again, not as fracture this time, but as doorway. Golden light, warm air, scent of night flowers. He steps through without hesitation, and everything he lived without edges folds neatly, lovingly into the ordinary bedroom that is waiting exactly as he left it. The clock on the wall now says 4:12 a.m. Only hours have passed. A lifetime has passed. He's lying on the bed, fully clothed, heart slow and vast. The foxlight is gone, but its warmth lingers against his ribs. The seed tree pulses once, settles, becomes quiet, but permanent. He opens his eyes to the dark room. The ceiling cracks are still there, but they look like rivers of light now. He smiles the same enormous smile from the other side. Fear is still absent. It has not returned to claim its old chair. He knows the other life is not over. It is running parallel, one breath away, accessible whenever he remembers how to stop apologizing for existing. He closes his eyes again, not to escape, but to visit. And in the gentle space between sleep and waking, he whispers, "Thank you to the mushrooms, to the door, to the crack, to every being who danced with him." The rest of the night is soft. The morning will be soft too, because he brought the other life home inside his chest, and it is growing. He does not measure time in years anymore, yet years come anyway, rich, uncounted, overflowing. The other life stretches like an endless summer afternoon that refuses to cool into evening. He lives it fully, greedily, the way a starving man finally sits at a table laid with everything he ever denied himself. He begins with love, raw, reckless, boundaryless love. The woman of wind and bird song is only the first. There are others, a quiet scholar made of candle flame and old books who teaches him to love slowly, deliberately, word by word. A wild dancer whose body is a storm of red and gold, who shows him how love can be fierce and still gentle. A silent gardener whose hands smell of soil and whose kisses plant entire forests inside his chest. He loves men too, tall ones with voices like rivers, soft ones with eyes full of galaxies, laughing ones who chase him through fields of light until they collapse together in heaps of breathless joy. There is no jealousy here, no possession. Love is not a resource to hoard, it is air. Everyone breathes deeply. He fathers and mothers light beings who call him by names he has never heard before, names that feel truer than any given at birth. They grow swiftly, brilliantly. One becomes a bridge builder, weaving connections between distant petals of the flower world. Another becomes a silence keeper, tending quiet places where tired souls come to rest. They visit often, bringing stories, laughter, small gifts, a stone that sings when held, a feather that remembers flight for you, a drop of water that holds an entire ocean. When they leave, he does not miss them. Missing is impossible when everything is still connected by invisible threads of light. He travels. He walks the singing deserts until his feet remember every grain of sand from previous lives. He dives into oceans of liquid starlight and swims through the dreams of sleeping worlds. He climbs mountains that grow taller to meet his ambition, their peaks brushing the undersides of passing moons. At the top of one, he shouts every secret he was ever afraid to tell. The mountain shouts them back, transformed into avalanches of flowers that blanket the valleys below. People, beings, wake up laughing in their beds, covered in petals, suddenly unafraid. He creates relentlessly. Whole cities rise from his daydreams, one built entirely of music where walls hum lullabies, another of mirrors that show you only your kindness, a third of living stories where inhabitants walk in and out of each other's narratives like open doors. He writes symphonies that heal ancient wounds in listeners they will never meet. He paints murals on the sky that change with the emotions of anyone looking up. On days when joy feels too large to contain, he simply opens his mouth and releases flocks of bright birds that circle the world, spreading colour wherever shadows have gathered too long. He fails spectacularly, often and without consequence. A bridge collapses the first time he tries to span two petals. He stands in the wreckage and laughs until tears come. The others laugh with him. They rebuild it together, stronger, more beautiful, incorporating the broken pieces as deliberate design. A love affair ends, not in pain, but in mutual blooming. They part as friends who have outgrown the shape they shared, grateful for the stretch. A song he pours his entire heart into falls silent the moment it is finished. He releases it anyway. Years later it returns to him on the lips of a child who never heard the original. Failure here is only fertilizer. He learns to grieve without clinging. Beloved companions choose to dissolve back into light when their purpose feels complete. He holds their hands, tendrils, wings, whatever form they wear, as they fade, whispering gratitude. The grief is clean, sharp, and brief, like winter air. It leaves him clearer, not diminished. He plants a tree for each departure. The forest around his favourite resting place thickens yearly, leaves whispering the names of those who moved on. He becomes known, not famous, for fame requires scarcity and comparison. Known the way sunlight is known. Beings travel far to sit with him, to ask quiet questions. How do you stay open when it hurts? How do you love without fear of loss? How do you create without fear of judgment? He has no answers, only stories. He tells them slowly, beside campfires made of gentle blue flame that never burn. Listeners leave lighter, carrying small embers in their chests. He grows older and younger at once. His body, if it can be called a body, accumulates experiences the way trees accumulate rings. Lines appear around his eyes, but they are laugh lines only. His hair silvered long ago, yet his step remains light. Children climb him like a tree. Lovers trace the stories written in his skin. He is ancient and brand new every morning. One day, he thinks it is a day. He stands on a cliff above an ocean of liquid starlight and realizes he has lived every dream fear ever stole from him. Twice, some 3 times. There's nothing left to prove, nothing left to chase, only presence remains. He sits. The foxlight, now grown into a magnificent creature with fur of dawn and dusk, lies beside him. The woman of wind and birdsong joins them, head on his shoulder. The scholar, the dancer, the gardener all appear, settling in a loose circle. His light children arrive one by one, curling against him like they did when small. More come, friends, lovers, brief passers-by whose lives he touched unknowingly. The cliff becomes crowded with quiet, radiant beings. They sit in silence that is fuller than any conversation. The seed tree inside his chest has become enormous, roots entwined with his bones, branches spreading beyond his skin into a subtle aura visible to all. Its fruit glows softly, small golden orbs of pure potential. He plucks one, holds it up. Everyone watches. He understands. This is the moment the other life asks its only question. Will you keep all this beauty here? Or will you carry it back to the place that still believes fear is permanent? He looks at each face, each light, each love. They smile the same soft smile. They already know his answer. They have always known. He closes his hand around the fruit. It sinks into his palm, warm and certain. "I will bring it home," he says aloud. His voice is steady, deeper than he remembers. "I will live it there too." A murmur of approval ripples through the circle, like wind through leaves. The foxlight nuzzles his hand. The woman of wind kisses his temple. One by one they embrace him, merge a fraction of their light into his, then step back. The cliff begins to fade gently, the way dreams fade at dawn, not ending, translating. He stands alone for the last moment, clothed in every love he ever gave or received, fearless, complete. He turns toward the crack that has been waiting patiently all this time. It glows softer now, golden and welcoming. He walks to it without haste. As he nears, the mushroom medicine stirs again in the faraway bedroom, gentle, respectful, ready to guide him home. He pauses at the threshold, looks back once. The cliff is empty, Yet full, the ocean still sings, the forest of departure trees whispers thank you. He nods, steps through. The other life does not close behind him. It folds, compresses, settles into his chest beside the great tree, compact as a seed, vast as a universe. He's ready to wake up. He feels it first as a tide. Not a harsh tug, not command, just the gentlest pull, like a mother's hand sliding into yours when it's time to leave the playground. The golden crack still glows in front of him, but now it breathes slower, in rhythm with the mushrooms far away in the dark bedroom. In, out, in, out. Each breath draws him a little closer to the threshold. He does not resist. There is nothing to resist. The other life is not ending. It is learning how to fit inside a human heart. The vast cliff, the ocean of starlight, the circle of light beings. Everything begins to fold the way a silk scarf folds into a pocket. Colours soften, sounds grow rounder, warmer. The foxlight rubs its great head against his leg one final time, then dissolves into a ribbon of dawn-coloured warmth that curls around his ankle and stays there. A quiet ankle bracelet of living light. The woman of wind and birdsong kisses him slowly on the forehead. Her kiss becomes a breeze that settles behind his eyes, ready to remind him how to laugh on ordinary Tuesdays. One by one, every love, every child, every friend, every fearless moment steps forward, touches him, shoulder, cheek, palm, heart, and melts into him like warm rain soaking into soil. There is no sadness, only the sweetest ache of fullness, the way your chest aches when a song is too beautiful to end. He lifts his hand. The great tree inside his chest shivers, folds its branches inward, shrinks its roots kindly around his ribs. It does not disappear. It simply becomes portable. A small, steady glow now rests where fear used to live. He places his palm over it and feels it answer. I am coming with you. We all are. The mushroom voice finally speaks, not in words, but in the language of the body. A soft warmth spreads from his stomach upward, like drinking hot tea on a winter night. It says, without saying, you have everything you need. It is safe to return. The world you left is still there, but it will never fit you the same way again. He smiles. The smile feels enormous, ancient, brand new. He takes one slow step toward the crack. The ground beneath him changes from cliffstone to moss, to the familiar give of his bedroom carpet. Another step. The golden light parts like curtains made of sunrise. He can smell the faint earthy scent of the mushroom still lingering in the real air. He can hear the quiet hum of the refrigerator down the hall, the soft tick of the wall clock. They no longer sound small or ordinary. They sound like a lullaby the universe is singing just for him. Halfway through the crack, he pauses. He turns, not with his body but with his attention, and looks back one last time. The other life is still there, bright and endless, waving gently. Thousands of light beings raise their hands in the quietest farewell. No goodbyes are spoken. There is no need. Distance is an illusion they never believed in anyway. He lifts his own hand, palm forward, just like the first stranger who greeted him. They mirror him, a silent promise. We are in you now. Live loudly. Love foolishly. Dance badly. Speak the truth that used to scare you. We will be the courage under every step. The crack begins to close, not shutting him out but folding him in. Golden light narrows to a thin, warm line, then to a thread, then to a single spark that slips between his ribs and settles beside the tree. For one perfect moment he exists in both places at once. The infinite fearless field and the small dark bedroom with the blinking smoke detector star. Then the spark flares softly, and he is all the way home. He's lying on his bed exactly as he was hours, lifetimes ago, fully clothed, shoes still kicked off by the door. The clock reads 4:38 a.m. Outside, the city is quiet for once, as if it too has been waiting. His body feels heavy in the most delicious way, like a coat that finally fits perfectly. He wiggles his fingers. They leave no trails of light, yet he can still feel the memory of light trailing. He breathes in. Ordinary air has never tasted so sweet. The fear does not return. It does not even knock. The chair it used to occupy is gone, replaced by a quiet, steady warmth. He sits up slowly. The room is dark, but not empty. It is full of presences now, soft, invisible, smiling. The foxlight warmth curls around his ankle. The windwoman breeze stirs his hair. The tree pulses gently with every heartbeat. He stands, walks to the window, pulls the curtain aside just enough to see the first hint of dawn touching the rooftops. Ordinary rooftops, ordinary sky, extraordinary everything. He whispers into the glass, breath fogging it for a moment. Thank you. The mushrooms answer with a final wave of softness that rolls from his toes to the crown of his head, then settles into quiet gratitude. Their work is done. His has just begun. He lets the curtain fall back, turns on the small lamp. Golden light, real, electric, perfect, spills across the room. He looks at the empty jar on the nightstand, smiles, caps it gently, sets it aside like a treasured letter. He walks to the bathroom mirror, looks at himself for the first time since the door opened. Same face, same eyes, but the eyes are different, deeper, softer, unafraid. Behind them, an entire fearless world is quietly alive. He smiles at the man to the mirror. The man smiles back without hesitation. No checking if the smile is too big. No worry that he looks foolish. Just a clear, open, radiant smile. He speaks aloud, testing the sound of his new voice. Hello, beautiful day. The words come out steady, warm, certain. They feel like the first honest words he's ever spoken to a morning. He brushes his teeth slowly, savouring the mint, the cool water, the simple joy of a body that carried him across lifetimes and brought him safely home. He splashes water on his face, watches the drops slide down, ordinary water that suddenly feels like liquid starlight. Back in the bedroom, he opens the window. Cool pre-dawn air flows in, carrying the faint scent of distant trees. He breathes it deeply. Somewhere inside, the foxlight stretches. The tree unfurls one quiet leaf. He knows what comes next. Coffee, a walk, real people, real traffic, real conversations. But none of it will be the same because he is no longer the same. He is the man who lived entire fearless years in one night. He is the man who brought an entire world home in his chest. He is the man who no longer needs permission to take up space, to love, to create, to shine. The pull is complete, not an ending, a beginning that will never shrink again. He closes the window, turns off the lamp, and lies back down just for a moment, letting the soft bed hold him. The ceiling cracks above look like rivers of light leading everywhere. He whispers into the quiet room, voice full of wonder and promise. See you all soon. Then he closes his eyes, not to escape, but to visit. He does not sleep again. There is no need. The night has already given him all the rest he will ever require. He lies on the bed for a long while, eyes open, watching the room grow gradually lighter as dawn works its patient way through the curtains. The ceiling cracks are no longer rivers of light. They're simply cracks. But he likes them more now. They look honest. Everything looks honest. The warmth around his ankle, the foxlight stirs occasionally. A reminder that the other life is not a dream to wake from, but a country he now carries citizenship in. The tree in his chest breathes with him, slow and steady. Its leaves rustle silently whenever he thinks of something beautiful. At 5:47 a.m, he stands, stretches, feels every joint and muscle greet the morning without complaint. His body feels used, not tired, not sore, but used in the best way, like a favourite instrument that has just played its finest concert. He walks to the kitchen. The floorboards creak in familiar places. He smiles at each creak, the way you smile at an old friend who insists on telling the same joke every time. He fills the kettle. The sound of water pouring is suddenly one of the most beautiful sounds he's ever heard. He sets it on the stove, turns the burner on low. While it heats, he opens the fridge, pulls out yesterday's coffee grounds, measures them into the French press with deliberate care. Simple actions, sacred actions. The kettle begins its soft song. He pours the water in a slow spiral, watching the grounds bloom and swirl like dark galaxies. The smell rises, rich, bitter, alive. He inhales it the way he once inhaled the air of the other life. Same gratitude, different world. He carries the mug to the small table by the window, sits. Outside, the city is waking up. A delivery truck rumbles past. Someone walks a dog that stops to sniff every third pole. A jogger in neon shoes nods at nothing in particular. He watches them all with soft eyes. No judgment, no hurry. Just witnessing. He sips the coffee. It is hot enough to remind him he has a body, bitter enough to remind him he is alive. Perfect. His phone sits on the table, face down. It has been face down since last night. He turns it over. The screen lights up with notifications, missed messages, emails, reminders. In the old life, this moment would have been a small contraction in his chest, the day demanding things before he was ready. Now he simply looks. The contraction never comes. He opens the first message, an anxious text from a friend asking if everything's okay, sent at 1:12 a.m. He types back slowly. Everything is more than okay. Coffee tastes like miracles this morning. Talk soon. He adds a mushroom emoji on impulse, then sends. Another message from work. A meeting moved earlier. Can he make it? Old him would have felt the familiar twist of resentment and obligation. New him feels only curiosity. How will it feel to sit in that room today, with the tree breathing quietly in his chest? He replies, "See you there." He stands, rinses the mug, leaves it in the sink upside down like always, walks to the bathroom, showers slowly, letting the water run over his head, his shoulders, his back. He sings, an old song he loved as a teenager, but stopped singing because someone once laughed. His voice is off-key in places, but it fills the small room completely. He does not care. The sound is his, and it is enough. He dresses in clothes that have hung in the closet for months. Bright colours he bought on impulse and never dared wear. A deep green shirt, a scarf with tiny embroidered birds. He looks in the mirror and grins. He looks ridiculous. He looks perfect. Keys, wallet, phone. One last look around the apartment. It is the same apartment it was yesterday. Peeling paint in the hallway, stack of unopened mail, dying plant on the windowsill. But it feels different, larger, more forgiving. He steps outside. The hallway smells of someone's breakfast, burnt toast and cinnamon. He breathes it in like incense. The elevator is broken again. He takes the stairs 4 flights down, humming the song from the shower. Each step feels light, deliberate. The foxlight warmth around his ankle keeps perfect time. Outside, the air is cold enough to nip at his cheeks. He welcomes it. The street is busy now, people hurrying, heads down, earbuds in, armour on. He walks among them without armour. A woman brushes past him, muttering into her phone about deadlines. Their eyes meet for half a second. He smiles. Not the polite city smile, but the full, open one from the other side. She startles, then smiles back involuntarily, a small, confused flicker. He keeps walking. Behind him, her steps slow just a little. At the corner cafe, he stops for a second coffee. The barista is new, nervous, spills a little milk. Old him would have looked away, pretended not to notice. New him says gently, "Hey, no worries. Happens to everyone. That latte looks perfect anyway." The barista looks up, surprised, then relieved. His hand stops shaking. They chat for 30 seconds about nothing. The weather, the playlist playing overhead. When he leaves, the barista calls after him, "Have a good one," with real warmth. On the subway, he stands near the doors. A man across from him is reading headlines on his phone, face tight with worry. He catches the man's eye, nods once, softly. The man nods back. His face relaxes a fraction. No words, just recognition. The office building is the same grey tower it always was. He walks through the lobby, badge beeping him in. Colleagues nod hello, some do double takes. He's wearing colour. He's smiling too widely for a Thursday morning. In the elevator, someone asks, "Good weekend?" He answers honestly, "Best night of my life, actually." They laugh, thinking it's a joke. He laughs with them, because it is also funny. The meeting starts 10 minutes late. People fidget, check emails under the table. He sits quietly, hands folded, tree breathing in his chest. When it's his turn to speak, the words come out clear, kind, unafraid. He says what he actually thinks instead of the safe version. The room stills for a moment. Then someone nods. Someone else adds to the idea instead of shooting it down. The conversation shifts, becomes real. Afterward, his boss pulls him aside, not angry, curious. "You seem different today." He smiles. "I am. Nothing more." His boss waits for explanation, then shrugs, smiles back. "Well, keep bringing that energy." Lunchtime. He walks to the park nearby instead of eating at his desk, sits on a bench, watches pigeons argue over a crumb. A child on a scooter falls, starts to cry. He kneels, helps the child up, brushes off knees. "You're okay. Brave fall." The child sniffles, then laughs. The mother mouths "thank you." He nods. The afternoon passes in a blur of ordinary miracles. Emails answered honestly. Phone calls where he listens more than he speaks. A difficult conversation with a colleague that ends in mutual understanding instead of tension. At 6:12 p.m, he clocks out. The sky is turning that deep winter blue that makes everything look possible. He walks home slowly, scarf fluttering. Stops at the market for fresh bread, tomatoes, basil. The cashier comments on his scarf. He tells her the birds are embroidered by hand. She smiles like she's been given a small gift. Back in the apartment, he cooks, really cooks, dancing a little to music playing from his phone. Eats at the table with the window open, city sounds drifting in like guests. Washes dishes without rushing. Night falls. He sits on the bed again, same place he began. The jar is still there, empty now. He picks it up, turns it in his hands, whispers, "Thank you." Then he lies back. The room is dark again, but not empty. The fox-like curls tighter around his ankle. The tree spreads one quiet branch across his heart. The wind-woman breeze stirs the curtains. He closes his eyes. The crack does not appear. It doesn't need to. The other life is here now, woven into this one. He smiles into the dark. Tomorrow will be another day of living without edges, and the day after that, and the day after that. Fear is gone. Not defeated, simply irrelevant. He breathes in, breathes out, and for the first time in his entire life he falls asleep fearless. He sleeps. Not the old sleep of escape, the kind that used to swallow him to avoid tomorrow. This is a clean, open sleep, light, dreamless at first, then threaded with gentle visitations. The foxlight curls fully around him now, a living blanket of dawn warmth. The tree in his chest spreads wide, quiet branches brushing the inside of his ribs like a lullaby. Images drift through. The woman of wind laughing on a hillside, the scholar turning a page that glows, the dancer spinning slow circles in an empty plaza while music falls from the sky like soft snow. They do not demand anything. They simply remind him, we are still here. You are still there. Nothing was lost. He wakes before the alarm, before the city fully stirs. The room is pale grey with early light. For a long moment he lies still, listening to his own breathing. It is slower than it has ever been. Deeper. There is space between each inhale and exhale. Space big enough for whole galaxies. He sits up. The empty jar on the nightstand catches the first ray of sun and turns it into a small golden flare. He smiles at it. No longing. No wish to do it again soon. Only gratitude. Clean and complete. He understands now. The mushrooms did not give him a new life. They removed the old fear that had been pretending to be his life. He stands, stretches toward the ceiling. His body feels inhabited in a way it never did before. Every cell quietly celebrating its own existence. He walks to the window, pulls the curtains all the way open. The city is there, ordinary and miraculous. Rooftops wet with last night's rain, a single gull wheeling high, smoke rising from early chimneys. He places his palm against the cool glass, whispers, not to anyone in particular, I see you. The day begins the way days do. Coffee, shower, the bright green shirt again. He decides it is now his favourite. On the subway he stands without holding the rail, perfectly balanced even when the train lurches. People glance at him, then away, then back again. Something in his face makes them soften without knowing why. At work he speaks less and listens more. When he does speak, people lean in. Ideas that used to die in his throat now arrive fully formed and gentle. A project that has been stuck for months unsticks itself in one quiet conversation. His boss stops by his desk in the afternoon, hesitates, then says simply, "Whatever you're doing, don't stop." He nods. "I won't." In the evening he walks home a longer way through the park. Children chase each other across the grass. An old man feeds pigeons with careful precision. A couple argues softly on a bench, then suddenly laughs and kisses. He watches it all with the quiet knowing of someone who has lived 1,000 fearless years in one night and come back carrying the proof. He cooks again. Simple food, bright flavours, eats slowly, washes the dishes while humming the song from the shower yesterday. The dying plant on the windowsill, he waters it, turns it toward the light, speaks to it the way the gardener in the other life spoke to seedlings. You're safe now, grow however you need to. Night settles. He sits on the bed, lamp off, city glow filtering through the curtains. He does not need darkness to travel anymore. The door, the crack, the cliff, they're inside him now, accessible with a single breath. He closes his eyes. The foxlight stretches. The tree unfurls one silver leaf. The woman of wind stirs the air around his face. He feels them all, the scholar, the dancer, every light child, every brief bright stranger who ever touched him across the barrier. They do not speak. They simply rest with him, in him, around him. He understands the final gift. The other life was never somewhere else. It was the part of him fear had walled off. The mushrooms were only the gentle demolition crew. He will never lose this, not because he must cling to it, but because it was never separate. He lies down. The bed receives him like an old friend. He pulls the blanket up, not for warmth, but for the pleasure of the gesture. Before sleep, he whispers into the quiet room, one sentence soft and certain. "I brought you home." The tree answers with a slow pulse of light behind his ribs. The foxlight sighs contentedly. The windwoman kisses his forehead with the faintest breeze. Outside, the city keeps moving. Millions of lives, millions of private fears and private courages. Inside this small room, one man breathes in, breathes out, fearless and ordinary at last. Sleep comes easily, deeply, joyfully, and somewhere behind his eyes, on a cliff above an ocean of liquid starlight, a circle of light beings smiles in their endless night. They do not wait for him. They know he is already there. Good night, fearless one. Good night, little spore. Good night, bright citizen of both worlds. The story does not end. It only learns how to live quietly in an ordinary heart that finally remembers it was always vast.